Wait, before you spend that next quarter, listen carefully. Because right now, in pockets, jars, and cash registers across America, there are a handful of state quarters worth more than most people ever imagine. These aren't just coins, they're hidden jackpots, tiny pieces of metal that can explode in value if you know exactly what to look for. In this video, we're revealing the top 3 rare U.S. state quarters that collectors chase like treasure hunters. Some of these coins were struck with bizarre minting mistakes. Some were produced in shockingly low numbers, and some are so hard to find that people go their entire lives without ever seeing one. And here's the wild part. Any one of these quarters could be lying right in front of you, inside your change, your car, your piggy bank, even that old drawer everyone forgets about. So, buckle in, because what you're about to learn might change the way you look at every single coin you touch. If you've ever dreamed of finding a rare treasure without spending $1, this is the video you absolutely cannot skip. The history of the United States $quarter coin from the year 2000 is a fascinating chapter in American numismatics that reflects not only changes in coin design and minting technology, but also the cultural and historical themes that shaped the nation at the turn of the millennium. The year 2000 was part of the legendary 50-state quarters program, a program launched by the United States Mint in 1999 and continued until 2008. It was one of the most popular and successful coin series in the history of the United States, designed to honor each of the 50 states with a unique reverse design released in the order in which each state joined the Union. By the year 2000, the program was in its second year, and 5 new designs were released, each representing a different state. These were Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Virginia. Each of these quarters told a story of history, culture, and pride. Massachusetts was the first quarter of 2000, featuring the Minuteman, a symbol of the American Revolution, standing with a rifle beside an outline of the state. This design honored the state's crucial role in the fight for independence and the idea of ordinary citizens rising to defend their freedom. Next came Maryland, with its design showing the dome of the Maryland State House surrounded by white oak leaves, the white oak being the state tree. This design represented Maryland's colonial history and its important place as a founding state. South Carolina's quarter was particularly symbolic. It displayed the state outline with the palmetto tree, the Carolina wren, and the yellow jessamine flower representing the state's nickname, the Palmetto State. The palmetto tree itself carried deep meaning, tracing back to the Revolutionary War and the defense of Fort Moultrie, built from palmetto logs, which absorbed cannon fire effectively. New Hampshire's design featured the famous Old Man of the Mountain, a natural rock formation that resembled the profile of a human face. The formation was a cherished symbol of the state, representing nature's beauty and rugged strength. Though it sadly collapsed in 2003, the quarter remains a timeless tribute to it. The final quarter of 2000 represented Virginia, showing the 3 ships, Susan, Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, which carried English settlers to Jamestown in 1607, marking the first permanent English settlement. In America, each of these designs was chosen through a process that involved state governors, state historical societies, and citizen participation, making the series not just a coin collection, but a national storytelling project. The obverse side of all 2000 quarters featured the portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth, though the design was slightly modified by William Cousins for the State Quarters program. The coin maintained its classic appearance with the inscriptions, United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and $quarter. The quarters from 2000 were struck in 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced coins for circulation, while the San Francisco Mint produced special proof coins for collectors. Proof coins were struck in both clad and 90% silver versions for coin sets sold by the United States Mint. The mint marks PD or S were placed to the right of Washington's ponytail below the motto, In God We Trust. The minting technology of the time was highly advanced, allowing for more detailed engraving and consistent quality than in earlier decades. Millions of each state quarter were produced, making them widely available and encouraging people to collect the entire series. This coin collecting boom drew millions of Americans into the hobby. Even those who had never collected coins before the year 2000 quarters are remembered as part of a larger movement that reconnected Americans with their history through everyday change. They were also educational tools used in schools to teach geography and state history for collectors. There are some varieties and errors from the 2000 quarters that hold special interest. The most famous is the 2000p South Carolina quarter, with off-center strikes, die cracks, or double-die obverse errors, which can make them more valuable depending on condition and rarity. Another notable error type seen in some 2000 quarters is the improper clad layer error, in which part of the copper core shows through. Because the nickel layer was missing or incomplete, these errors are uncommon and highly collectible. Particularly in uncirculated condition, the 2000 proof silver quarters have also become favorites among collectors because of their brilliant mirror-like surfaces and low mintage compared to circulation strikes. Beyond the technical details, the 2000 quarters represent an important moment in American identity. At the dawn of the 21st century, the 50-state quarters program became a national celebration of diversity and unity as each state was honored. In turn, it fostered civic pride and encouraged millions of people to learn about the history, symbols, and traditions of states they might never have visited. It also showed how coins can serve as miniature monuments preserving art, history, and culture in a form that passes from hand to hand, generation to generation. By the end of the program in 2008, the United States Mint had produced more than 34 billion state quarters, making it one of the most successful numismatic initiatives ever undertaken. The year 2000 quarters hold a special nostalgic value today, representing the early excitement of the new millennium and the pride of the American states. Their designs remain among the most detailed and meaningful in modern U.S. coinage, from the steadfast Minuteman of Massachusetts to the sailing ships of Virginia. Each coin from that year tells a unique story about the founding ideals and natural beauty of America, and how those ideals continue to be celebrated through art and history. In coin form, the legacy of the 2000 quarter dollar continues to this day as collectors and historians look back on the era when coins were more than money. They were pieces of the American story struck in metal and shared across the nation. To explore more deeply into the history of the United States quarter dollar coin from the year 2000, we have to look beyond just the designs and examine the origins of the quarter itself, its evolution through American history, the cultural meaning it carried, and how the 2000 state quarters fit into that long tradition. The quarter dollar denomination dates back to the Coinage Act of 1792, which established the U.S. Mint and created the dollar as the standard unit of American currency. At that time, silver was the metal of choice for most higher denominations, and the quarter dollar was intended to be worth 1/4 of a silver dollar. Hence its name. The first quarter was struck in 1796, featuring a design by Robert Scott, the chief engraver of the early U.S. Mint. It displayed a small eagle on the reverse and a draped bust of Liberty on the obverse. The coin was made of 89.24% silver and 10.76% copper, and only a little over 6,000 of them were struck, making them extremely rare today. Throughout the 1800s, the quarter's design changed multiple times, reflecting the artistic and political sentiments of each era. By 1804, the heraldic eagle reverse replaced the small eagle symbolizing national pride and strength. In 1815, after a brief pause in production, quarters returned with the capped bust design created by John Reich, followed by the seated Liberty design. History of the quarter dollar coin 2002 is an interesting and educational topic that takes us deep into the world of American coinage and its symbolic representation of the 50 states. The 2002 quarters are part of the famous United States Mint 50 State Quarters program, which started in 1999 and continued until 2008. This program was created to honor each of the 50 states with a unique design on the reverse side of the quarter, and it became one of the most successful coin programs in the history of the U.S. Mint. In the year 2002, 5 states were represented on the quarter-dollar coins. Those were Tennessee, Ohio, Louisiana, Indiana, and Mississippi. Each of these quarters carried a design that symbolized the history, culture, and important features of its state. The obverse side of all these coins had the same portrait of George Washington designed by John Flanagan, which had been used since 1932, though slightly modified to fit the modern look of the state quarters. The Tennessee quarter was the first released in 2002, and it celebrated the rich musical heritage of the state. Tennessee is known as the birthplace of country music and has deep roots in blues and rock and roll. The coin featured 3 musical instruments: a guitar representing country music, a trumpet representing jazz, and a fiddle representing bluegrass. These instruments were placed over a background of musical notes, with the inscription, "Musical Heritage, Tennessee." Became known for its incredible contribution to American music through cities like Nashville and Memphis, which are home to legendary artists and music halls. Next came the Ohio quarter, which honored the state's long history in aviation and space exploration. The design featured an astronaut and the Wright Flyer to represent Ohio's famous sons, Orville and Wilbur Wright, who invented the first powered airplane. It also honored astronaut John Glenn, who was the first American to orbit the Earth and was from Ohio. The coin bore the inscription, "Birthplace of Aviation Pioneers," symbolizing Ohio's immense contribution to air and space travel. This design reminded the nation of the courage and creativity that marked Ohio's role in shaping modern transportation. The Louisiana quarter was the third release of 2002, and it represented a blend of culture, music, and history. The design showed a trumpet with musical notes flowing out of it, representing jazz, which was born in New Orleans. It also displayed the outline of the Louisiana Purchase territory, with a star marking the location of the state and the inscription, "Louisiana Purchase." This quarter celebrated the state's key role in American expansion, as well as its deep musical and cultural traditions that influenced the world. Louisiana's unique Creole and Cajun heritage also contributed to the beauty of its history, which the quarter helped preserve. The fourth quarter released that year was the Indiana quarter. This design celebrated both the state's automotive heritage and its role in space exploration. It featured a race car symbolizing the world-famous Indianapolis 500, a checkered flag, and an outline of the state, showing a star marking Indianapolis, the capital city. The design also included a representation of 19 stars, marking Indiana as the 19th state to join the Union. This coin celebrated Indiana's love for racing and innovation, reflecting its spirit of competition and progress that defined the state's identity. The final quarter of 2002 was the Mississippi quarter, which honored the beauty and symbolism of the magnolia flower, the state flower of Mississippi. The design showed 2 large magnolia blossoms and the words, "The Magnolia State." This coin reflected the natural beauty and charm of the state, known for its hospitality, its deep roots in Southern culture, and its long history in agriculture and the arts. The simplicity and elegance of the design captured the essence of Mississippi's spirit. Each of these 5 quarters carried more than just beautiful art. They represented stories of struggle, achievement, innovation, and pride. They became miniature pieces of history circulating in the hands of millions of Americans. People began collecting these quarters not just as coins, but as symbols of the nation's diversity and unity. The 50 State Quarters program, which included the 2002 coins, became a nationwide phenomenon. It inspired millions of Americans, both young and old, to take interest in coin collecting for the first time in decades. The Mint reported that nearly half of the U.S. population became involved in collecting these quarters at some level, with schools using them as teaching tools and families hunting for new releases together. It was a rare moment when a coin program managed to capture the imagination of an entire country. From a numismatic perspective, the 2002 quarters were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with some proof versions made at the San Francisco Mint. The coins were composed of copper and nickel for circulation pieces, and a mix of silver and copper. For the proof versions, the Mint also produced collector sets, which became popular among enthusiasts. Many of these coins remain common today in circulation, but special proof or uncirculated versions can have higher value to collectors depending on their condition and mint mark. As part of the broader 50 State Quarters program, these coins represented an important chapter in U.S. mint history. The program ran from 1999 to 2008, issuing 5 new state quarters each year in the order that the states joined the Union. It was authorized by the 50 States Commemorative Coin Program Act, signed by President Bill Clinton in December 1997. The program's goal was to honor the unique heritage of every U.S. state while engaging the public in the history and geography of the nation. The 2002 quarters were also symbols of American creativity and diversity, from Tennessee's music to Ohio's aviation, from Louisiana's jazz to Indiana's racing and Mississippi's magnolia. Every design told a unique story about the American dream and the people who made it real. Each coin was a reminder that even the smallest piece of metal could carry a nation's identity, its triumphs, and its culture. Over the years, these 2002 quarters have remained popular among collectors and history lovers. They are often featured in coin albums that chronicle the full 50 State Quarters collection. Many coin experts consider the 2002 series to be one of the most visually balanced sets due to its mix of cultural, scientific, and natural themes. It was a year that truly showcased the diversity of the United States through its art on coins. As time goes on, the 2002 quarter-dollar coins will continue to hold a special place in American numismatic history. They remind us not only of the individual states they represent, but also of a time when the entire nation came together in appreciation of its history and heritage. Captured in the palm of a hand through the timeless medium of coinage, the story of these quarters is a celebration of art history, innovation, and the unifying spirit of America that continues to inspire generations of collectors and patriots alike. The history of the 2002 quarter-dollar coins goes beyond the designs and their symbolism. These coins were minted during a period when the United States Mint was experiencing one of its most successful public engagement campaigns ever. The 50 State Quarters program, launched in 1999, had revitalized public interest in coin collecting, which had declined during the late 20th century. The 2002 series continued this legacy by offering designs that connected directly with America's cultural and technological achievements. The history of the United States bicentennial quarter, minted between 1975 and 1976, is one of the most fascinating chapters in American coinage history, as it celebrates 200 years of American independence. This coin holds a special place in both numismatic and cultural history. It symbolizes patriotism, artistic creativity, and a reflection of American heritage. The bicentennial quarter was part of a larger celebration that included special designs for the quarter half dollar and dollar coins, all featuring unique reverse designs to honor the nation's 200th anniversary of independence from Great Britain. The idea of a bicentennial coin was first discussed in Congress during the early 1970s, when the United States was preparing for a massive celebration marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Congress authorized the minting of commemorative coins in 1973, with a design that would represent the nation's history and pride rather than issuing coins dated 1975 and 1976 separately. The United States Mint decided to produce all bicentennial coins with the dual date, 1776-1976. This represented the unity of the celebration, spanning 2 years as the nation moved toward the historic bicentennial milestone. These coins were struck in 1975 and 1976, but none carry the date. 1975, the obverse of the bicentennial quarter still featured the classic bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan in 1932. However, for the bicentennial edition, the reverse design was changed to something entirely new that would capture the spirit of the American Revolution. To achieve this, the United States Mint held a national design competition in 1973, inviting artists from across the country to submit their concepts for the special bicentennial coinage. The winning design for the quarter was created by Jack L. Ayer, who was a colonial history enthusiast. His reverse design features a colonial drummer. Representing the citizen soldiers of the American Revolution beside the drummer is a victory torch surrounded by 13 stars, symbolizing the original 13 colonies. This design perfectly reflected the patriotic fervor and historical pride of the bicentennial celebration. When the bicentennial quarters were released in 1975, they immediately captured public attention. Millions of Americans began collecting them from circulation. These coins were available in both circulation strike and special proof versions. They were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The San Francisco Mint produced both clad and 40% silver proof sets. The silver versions were especially popular among collectors and sold in special bicentennial coin sets alongside the half-dollar and dollar coins. The bicentennial coinage program was not only a tribute to history, but also a massive national event. The United States Mint produced billions of bicentennial quarters to meet the extraordinary demand as Americans held on to them as keepsakes rather than spending them because of their symbolic design and historical significance. Bicentennial quarters can still be found in circulation today, nearly half a century later. Though many have been saved by collectors, the coin's dual date, 1776-1976, remains one of its most distinctive features as it connects the Revolutionary era with modern America. Another interesting aspect of the bicentennial quarter is its connection to the larger artistic movement of the 1970s. During that period, there was a renewed national interest in early American history and culture reflected in everything from art and music to film and literature. The bicentennial celebration culminated in grand national events such as parades, fireworks, and television specials, and the bicentennial coins served as an everyday reminder of the nation's revolutionary spirit. For many Americans, holding one of these coins felt like holding a small piece of history. The quarter's design, featuring the colonial drummer, became an instantly recognizable patriotic symbol that reminded citizens of America's origins and enduring freedom. Though the bicentennial quarter is common in circulation, it has become a nostalgic item for millions who remember the excitement of the bicentennial years. Certain varieties of the coin have become valuable to collectors depending on condition and mint mark. For example, quarters struck in 40% silver proof or uncirculated versions from the San Francisco Mint often command higher prices in the collector's market. Additionally, some coins have minting errors such as double strikes or off-center designs, which can make them especially valuable in numismatic circles beyond its monetary worth. The bicentennial quarter represents a celebration of American identity and unity. It was minted during a time of reflection as the country looked back on 2 centuries of struggle growth and achievement. The coin's design serves as a timeless reminder of the nation's founding ideals, liberty, courage, and the pursuit of independence. The bicentennial quarter also played a role in sparking public interest in coin collecting. Many people who were not traditional collectors began saving coins during the bicentennial years, leading to one of the largest booms in hobby history. The excitement over these coins led the Mint to produce related items such as commemorative sets, medals, and souvenir coin holders, which became popular gifts and collectibles throughout the 1970s. The bicentennial coin program was so successful that it inspired future commemorative coin programs in the United States, including the State Quarters series launched in 1999. The lessons learned from the Bicentennial Project showed the Mint how special coin designs could capture public imagination and promote national pride each time. Someone held a bicentennial quarter. They were reminded not only of George Washington and the Revolution, but also of the resilience and unity that define the American experience as a result. These coins continue to be cherished across generations. The bicentennial quarter tells a story that stretches from the battlefields of 1776 to the coin collections of modern America. Its enduring design and historical importance make it a living artifact of the United States bicentennial celebration. Even today, collectors, historians, and everyday Americans alike value this coin, not only for its artistry, but also for the meaning it carries. It is a tribute to the men and women who fought for independence, and to the vision of freedom that has guided the nation for over 2 centuries. As time moves forward, the bicentennial quarter will remain a reminder of how far the United States has come since 1776, and how symbols like a simple coin can connect an entire nation to its roots. The story of the United States bicentennial quarter, minted between 1975 and 1976, goes far beyond its design and mintage. It is deeply connected to one of the most important cultural movements in modern American history. The bicentennial celebration of 1976 was not just a commemoration of 200 years since independence. It was a nationwide event that sought to bring Americans together during a time of reflection, renewal, and patriotism. This small piece of metal, minted between 1975 and 1976, continues to echo the heartbeat of American history, representing not just the past, but also the promise of the future. And that is why the United States bicentennial quarter remains one of the most beloved and historically significant coins ever produced by the Mint.